What's good, everybody? Welcome to Outside the Playbook. With the NBA season right around the corner, I linked up with the eye test to do a 30-team breakdown, going division by division, making our picks for MVP, NBA Finals, and more. But before we get into that, thank you for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and click the bell to get notified every time Outside the Playbook drops new content.
He's heating up.
All right, so we gonna continue with our NBA season preview series. We moving on to the Northwest Division, and I'm gonna just be honest. This is gonna be known as the Portland Trailblazers episode. All right, no disrespect to the Denver Nuggets who are in this division, but we're gonna spend a lot of time talking about that Portland deal that sent Damian Lillard to the Milwaukee Bucks. First things first, let's get into the Utah Jazz. They went 37-45. They were 12th in the West. No playoffs, no play-in. 10th in offense, 23rd in defense. They were able to pick up John Collins and Omer Yurtseven from the Miami Heat. They do lose Rudy Gay. Looking at this roster as it currently stands, did the Jazz trade Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell without having an actual game plan?
Honestly, I would think that the game plan was strictly just based on rebuilding and trying to figure out who was going to be the next guy, you know what I mean, potentially. Yeah. I think they had a bunch of pieces. I think they had a bunch of pieces where they were like, it looks promising. I don't even want to say promising. I think they just had a bunch of pieces. They just wanted to see what was going to happen, personally. Throw everybody in there, throw everybody in the fire, see what was going to come out. And granted, they did have a couple people that did come out and show out and stuff like that. Marketing definitely changed my mind about him as a player. Definitely,
he was in a situation where he could have been a bust.
Yeah,
everybody was looking at him like a bust. His first, he had maybe 1 or 2 good years in Chicago. Didn't do what they thought he was going to do in Cleveland. He gets in the trade for Donovan Mitchell. He goes to Utah. He plays pretty well. Jordan Clarkson plays pretty well, but for the most part, if you look at that team, you don't see you have a sense of direction. They have marketing. They have Kessler, but there's no real direction for, okay, we're looking to get this piece built around him. They lucked out with marketing. They didn't expect him to be this good, to even be in a conversation to where we're looking at him like, okay, first month of the season, you're in MVP, discussions. Nobody expected that to happen. So I think, it was pretty much, let's get rid of Rudy Gobert. Let's get rid of Donovan Mitchell, which for what they got for an all-star, I don't think it was nearly enough. I don't think they have a sense of direction at all. Let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves, though. Right? 42-40, 8th in the West. They lost in the first round to the Denver Nuggets. They go, number 23 in offense, 10th in defense. They bring in Luka Garza, who, in my opinion, teams keep bouncing him around and stuff like that. He was a college player of the year. I think he can add something to a team if they give him the proper chance, but that's just me. Is this the year Anthony Edwards puts himself in the MVP conversation?
MVP conversation?
Looking at what he did with Team USA over the summer.
You know what? I'll say no for now. I think it'll give him the confidence to want to be that. Okay. I think it's too many in front of him that are already kind of cemented.
Okay.
But I think he will become very, very close, if not a superstar this time around. It's something about those world games that if you come out balling, you come back that next season and your confidence is through the roof. I mean, and because of the fact that he's so promising and the fact that like even our expectations of him, he's shown and to me exceeded that. The Minnesota Timberwolves is the Minnesota Edwards right now.
I think he has the potential to do so.
Yeah.
But there has to be an understanding in Minnesota that Anthony Edwards is the guy now. It's not Cat. It's definitely not going to be Cat. You need Anthony Edwards to be your best player and everything to function and operate through him. somebody needs to inform the rest of the players on that roster that we go as Anthony Edwards goes. I think everybody needs to understand that Anthony Edwards, the year he had in Team USA or the summer he had in Team USA, is it's an indicator that he has the potential to do this for an 82-game season.
And just to piggyback off that with Ant-Man, man, I think if Cat brings any sort of interference in terms of like what's destined for somebody like Ant, he's gonna turn into somebody like how Jimmy was, where it's like, dude, you need to either get out the way because we're trying to win and we're gonna win. Everybody get on my back and we're gonna do this.
And he has no problem telling Cat that, straight up. Let's talk about the Oklahoma City Thunder. They go 40-42, 10th in the West. They lost in the play-in to the Timberwolves. Shout out to the play-in GOAT. 13th in offense, 14th in defense. Not many key additions, no key losses on this team. But from my perspective, okay, I don't want everybody to assume that SGA is one of those guys that can score a lot of points on a bad team. All right. I think SGA, he's a good player. He knows how to close the deal in tough games. He's clutch. I think the issue now with that team is being healthy, being consistent every single night, and understanding how to win games as a team. Do you think that the Oklahoma City Thunder make that jump to the playoffs this year, get out of the play-in, and they make themselves a perennial playoff team this year?
I think if the organization figures out what to do in terms of making moves to kind of move players around.
Yeah, and not just stack up draft picks, but actually make those picks work for them now.
Yeah, I think SGA, to what you said, he's not. We know now he's not a studio gangster. He's not somebody who he's gonna be on a bad team and go crazy. It's like, dude, he's showing himself from the time that he got drafted to the time that he was with Chris Paul in that tutelage, and now on the world stage again. And we talked about another player on the world stage, showed himself and proven, look, hey, I'm that guy. So now I feel like it's in reverse, where we were kind of looking at SGA as like, I don't know, because this team and no, it's in reverse now, where it's SGA and who you're gonna bring around me to show what not only what I have or what my team have around me.
Now, Josh Giddey, one of my favorite young guys in the league. I've said that. I mean, the boy can get you 15, 8, and 8 in his sleep. Then you bring in Chet. All right, he's healthy now. Yeah. And from what I've seen, he had a good summer, a healthy summer, no setbacks or anything like that. He's my pick to win Rookie of the Year. We'll get to that when we talk about MVPs and all that. But I think this is a good, solid, young team. But I think you have to have somebody in the front office say, okay, let's trade 3 or 4 of these draft picks, these first-round draft picks, and get a solid vet to surround these young guys. Definitely. And then they'll be a playoff team. But right now, I don't think they're ready to make that jump. I think they're going to be in the play-in again this coming year. But by any means, I do not think that's a indictment on SGA as a player. Defending champs, Denver Nuggets. All right, they go 53-29, 5th in offense, 15th in defense. They bring in Justin Holiday, but they do lose Bruce Brown. Don't know how that's going to affect them coming this year. But if you were to put a number on it, okay, obviously consider, Dame is in Milwaukee. We'll touch on that situation in a minute. The Lakers, Warriors, that whole Pacific division. If you were to put a number on the odds, what percentage chance do you give the Denver Nuggets to repeat this year?
I would say 40%.
That's a high number for me.
I would say 40%.
That's a high number for me.
And the reason why I say 40% is because I feel like nobody really did anything in terms of trying to deal with Joker. And to me personally, it's not about his scoring, it's his passing. Yeah. And it's his physicality. Okay. Like we've spoken about before, and I've mentioned many a times, I feel like Dwight Howard was the perfect person in terms of matching the physicality and kind of allowing everybody else to really worry about everybody else, which prevents, to me, Joker's best attribute, his passing, to be way more difficult and to tire him out.
I have to say I give him 25 or less % chance.
Okay.
specifically because, like I said, everybody is in a win now. Everybody's going to be healthy coming into the season. Everybody's, stacked up talent. Like I said, the whole Pacific Division is in that conversation to win a championship. You have to go through at least two of those teams in that division to get another ring. I don't think they're going to let, the Denver Nuggets do to them, again this year what they did to them last year.
I can at least say this. I think that what works for them is the fact that, going to what you're saying right now, they still viewed the Denver Nuggets as a championship underdog.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that they're literally have that chip on their shoulder every year, the fact that, like, they've won and it's still, yeah, y'all won, but I think that's still, like honestly, I think people should be afraid of Murray. I think people should be afraid of Joker. Joker have shown, Murray have shown, but this coming around this season, look, the Pacific Division, when we look at, like, the injuries and stuff, I know coming in and everybody's, like, healthy and stuff like that, but going into them playoffs, going into the late season, if they're still the team that's healthy and everybody else is still fighting to be so, it's going to be scary.
Yeah. All right. Now that we got all that out, let's talk about the Portland Trailblazers, okay? 33-49, 13th in the West, no playoffs, no play-in, 8th in offense, 27th in defense. They lose Damian Lillard, obviously. They lose Yusuf Nurkic. They lose Nasir Little. They draft Scoot Henderson. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the Miami Heat aspect of this first, okay? The Miami Heat, we're going to offer Tyler Hero, Nikola Jokic, 3 first-round picks, 3 first-round pick swaps, multiple second-round picks for Damian Lillard. And they also had a deal in place to where Kyle Lowry would end up going to Phoenix along with Yusuf Nurkic, and the Blazers would end up getting DeAndre Ayton still in that deal. Now, Portland Trailblazers' response to all that was either give us Jimmy or Bam or no deal. Now, the logic behind that is simply, I just want you to get off my phone and stop calling. Right. Okay? That doesn't seem to be operating in good faith. So I'm not holding Miami accountable in this situation at all, as I previously was, because Dame's agent, Aaron Goodwin, he came in and said they did everything they could to acquire Dame. It takes 2 to get a deal done. I appreciate all that Pat, Andy, and Mickey Arison did to try to make this deal happen. Now, from your perspective, all right, looking at the Portland Trailblazers, does it look like they were in a position, or does it look like they were even trying to actually accommodate Damian Lillard's request?
No, not at all. I think it's a tall tale sign of being petty LaBelle. Honestly, I think it's guys with a lot of money who understand that they have a rebuilding situation going on, and they're willing to, in their mind, it's like, dude, I have money, I have time, I'll dismantle this whole thing before I give you what you want, even though I act like I loved you or I act like I cared about it, and everybody can kind of sum that up to, it's just business. It is, but you can still be petty in business.
Yeah.
And with that, I think that they ultimately, knowing but don't care, cut their nose to spite their face.
Yeah. Here's my perspective on all this, okay? Now, we are Miami Heat fans. You're going to get in the comments or you're going to talk about how this is a biased opinion or anything like that. Miami had the best deal on the table. Because if you look at it like this, okay, if I'm Portland, I don't want Tyler Hero. We've made the case before. 6th man of the year. If you put him on that roster right now, he would be the best scoring option. The only one with NBA Finals experience that's done well in the finals. Mm-hmm. But you don't say, okay, we have to do what's best for the organization after a player asks for a trade when Anthony Davis has been available, Kevin Durant's been available multiple times, Kawhi Leonard's been available, Kyrie, KD,
Bradley Beal,
all these other Bradley Beal. All these players have been available over the past 4 or 5 years, and you didn't do what was best for the organization then and try to pursue those players. You didn't do what was best for the organization when you have, no matter how you feel about him getting this accolade, a top 75th NBA player in NBA history on your roster, arguably the best player you've ever had, up there with Clyde Drexler. You didn't do what was best for your team and pursue one of those players to put a championship. You didn't do that.
Mm-mm.
So now you have to do what's best for the organization when it's time to trade him away. That logic just doesn't make sense. That's a cop-out answer when you say, all right, we traded Dame for this and we didn't give him the request that he wanted. If you care about him that much, first of all, as an organization, okay, send him to the East. You don't have to deal with him at all. You don't have to play him 4 times in a year. You just play him twice. It's not going to hurt you at all. Send him to the East, doesn't matter what team.
Mm-hmm.
Because he specifically named an organization, you decide that you don't want to do business with that organization. That's not operating in good faith. And obviously it's not doing what's best for your organization, because you get 1 draft pick that doesn't happen until 2029.
Come on, man.
The Miami Heat gave you a draft pick for 2024, the
man.
next season. The kid you're waiting to draft is in 8th grade biology right now, and he can't pass the class. That's the dude you waiting on right now. You could be in a situation where you could draft Bronny James next year if you wanted to, or whoever else. You can draft a superstar caliber player to pair up with the number 3 draft pick that you have in Scoot Henderson, the number 7 draft pick you have in Shaedon Sharpe. You have Jeremy Grant that you signed to a deal. You have Anthony Simons that you signed to another deal on top of that. You have all the pieces that you could possibly need, and you would get 3 first-round draft picks, but you chose to be petty and, like you said, cut off your nose to spite your face.
2029. 2029.
2029.
2029.
So I got to wait 5 years. It's women that don't wait 5 years for their man to propose to them. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
I feel you.
So you think the best thing for you to do, and you want to rebuild this team as quickly as possible, you get a 29 first-round draft pick, and guess what? Multiple pick swaps that don't kick in until 2028 and 2030.
Wait, Andrew doesn't want to be there.
This organization is trying to convince us that they did what was best for them, on top of the fact they picked up a dude in DeAndre Ayton that isn't fully committed to playing basketball at a high level, because we haven't seen him do that, simply because he want to be the guy or he want to go back and forth with a coach. Bro, you're playing with Kevin Durant, Devin Booker, and, Chris Paul got hurt in the playoffs, but there's another dude on the other side that's cooking you for a 30, 40-point triple-double, but you want to convince me that you deserve to be the guy and get all these touches on the same court with Kevin Durant and Devin Booker.
Come on, man.
You're not that guy, but that's who you want me to believe was a better option than Tyler Hero, Jokic, the kid out of UCLA, 3 first-round draft picks that would kick in next season, pick swaps, a second-round draft pick, and we get you assistance and getting off Yusuf Nurkic and sending him to another championship contender that did want the guy that you're trying to get from them. But they want us to believe they did what's best for the franchise.
Insane.
I'm cool on that.
Insane.
But, hey, let us know what your thoughts are in the comments. Am I tripping, or am I just, a fan of the Miami Heat? Give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. That's one more for the good guys.
He's here.